Hi everybody, welcome back to the Roma Army channel, the channel all about equality with a male gender focus. So if men's rights is your thing, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to find my other socials, check the description below. If you hear some random noises just through the video, such as that one, it's just my puppy playing with her incredibly loud toys, so be patient with me. But without any further ado, let's get into the video. My name is Chloe Roma, and the Roma Army is my vision. We are not who society tells us to be, but who we want to be. We are a men's rights movement, and together we are strong. I am Chloe Roma, and this is my vision for the future. So today's video, I'm going to be responding to a channel called Think Before You Sleep that did a video on me about a year ago. It's titled Roma Army is Another Chameleon. So I actually had initially responded to this video when it first came out, but what I don't think a lot of people realized is when I was responding to the video, I was still recovering from a suicide attempt that left me with some serious amnesia and possible brain damage. So when I was responding to the video, I was very defensive, quite upset, and I don't feel like I was really able to articulate intelligently what it was that I was feeling. So it was really hard for me to respond to the video of someone really judging me so unfairly and judging me based off of mental health when I was really coming out of like some dark mental health. So I am re-responding. For those that did see the first video, you saw it. For those that didn't, there is somebody who did upload it, and I will link it in the description below, just so you can see my first response if you want. Papa Gut also did a response. He did a great analysis. But anyways, before I bore you, I'm just gonna get into it. Let's go. So the channel Think Before You Sleep seems to be kind of like a commentary channel that really focuses on male issues. We have titles like Problems with Female Officers, What Me Too Loves to Ignore, The Reasons Why Men Aren't Getting Married, blah, blah, blah. So it seems to really just be an opinion piece channel. So with that being said, let's just get straight into the video. Women respond to the term nice guys finish last. If at any point in this video you start to feel pissed off at me, you're probably projecting, because this is reminding you of behaviors that you are doing. This one may come as a little bit of a shock, but it is not a turn on. So right away I can see that they've opened up with a video that I don't quite think is up anymore, but it was a video basically talking about how good women respond to the term nice guys finish last, or good men. And it's actually a red flag for us when you are a self-proclaimed nice guy. A genuinely nice guy shouldn't have to self-proclaim it. I'm a nice girl. Nice guys usually get used by the toxic women. So I actually just noticed that there was a really big cut there, and I'm gonna just rewind and show you what it was. I'm a nice girl. Nice guys usually get used by the toxic women. So it says, I'm a nice girl, and then kind of cuts off and makes it seem like I'm going off into something else. But I actually remember this video, and what I had very, very specifically stated is, I'm a nice girl, but I don't feel the need to go around and proclaim to everybody everything that I do that makes me nice, because that would probably make me a red flag. So whether they cut that on purpose, I'm not quite sure yet, but I just wanted to clarify that there was a lot of talking in between there. Nice guys usually get used by the toxic women that know that they'll say yes to everything that they want. And then they completely miss us good girls. They completely miss us good girls. It's actually a red flag for us when you are a self-proclaimed nice guy. So I see what they're doing. They've repeated this part. They completely miss us good girls. They completely miss us good girls. I feel like this was a little bit of like editing manipulation on their end. I can very clearly see that what they're trying to make you feel like is that I said people who self-proclaim that they are nice people, great people, typically aren't great people. And then they kind of made a little edit here where it seemed like I was saying that I was a self-proclaimed nice person. If you actually watched my full video, I in no way was saying like somehow it's okay for me to say it or for women to be self-proclaimed, but it's like a red flag if guys do it. So I just feel like this was kind of editing manipulation, but that might not have been the point. So let's continue.
I always thought that content creators did what I did, which is watch all their videos before they post them. I guess they don't.
I just want to add really quick that I am a huge fan of this commentary style. It kind of reminds me of like the JCS, criminal analysis type YouTube videos. Love them, very easy to watch. I can see why his channel is successful.
I feel like if she did that, it would have been pretty easy to catch that she said she was nice and a good woman right after she said it was a red flag for a guy to proclaim that he is nice.
Well, I'm pretty sure that as a YouTuber, when I am doing commentary videos or when I am releasing something that somebody has said, I show the whole video. I don't just kind of cut and paste it to make it seem like someone has said something or proclaimed something or had this like analysis that they never really had. So.
But I agree. Proclaiming that you are nice or good is a red flag, because there is no one you should be more suspicious of than a person who has to constantly tell people they are a good person.
I'm glad that we can agree there.
That's not something that you get to declare about yourself. It's a title that you have to earn from other people. Well, anyway, for those of you who don't know, this is Chloe Sunderland.
So that is my old TikTok account, just so you guys know. I have linked all of my recent accounts down below just because they're always being removed. So I don't want you guys to see this and be like, there's her TikTok. No, I have a new one. Check the description below.
This is Chloe Sunderland, and she runs a channel called Roma Army. Chloe is a 23-year-old Canadian.
24-year-old Romanian that lives in Canada.
Chloe is a 23-year-old Canadian who speaks out for men's rights and has built quite a following on TikTok. There's just one problem, though. She isn't actually helping men. I'll get into that, but first, a word from this video's sponsor.
I have a really big issue with people who see other people's content or see their work or see what they're doing, and they make these big statements like, this person isn't actually helping anybody. Well, sir, my YouTube comments, my community comments, the people who I message with every single day, my Patreons, I feel like they would beg to differ, because I feel like as soon as you talk about issues that aren't widely spoken about, I feel like you are making a difference, whether you're making a difference in someone's individual life or you're encouraging other people to speak up on issues that they never would have seen a reason to speak on before. So I personally gear away from telling people that they're not making a difference when I don't know them and I don't know their following personally. That's just me, though.
Chloe is what is called a female chameleon. In a relationship, a female chameleon is a woman who will pretend that she likes the things that the guy likes in order to get him to like her.
I am an educated woman. I am a beautiful woman. I am very charming. I have a lot going for me. I don't just like live in my mom's basement with like 10 kids. This idea that female men's rights advocates such as myself are only speaking on men's issues because we think that's what people want to hear is almost laughable to me, considering that feminism is like a multi-million-dollar idea. So many campaigns, so much money is donated into these feminist issues, and men's issues, they're not commonly spoken about. In fact, you are more likely to be ridiculed as a men's rights advocate and to be picked apart and judged, such as this video here is doing, than you are as a feminist. You are more likely to be accepted by other women, even by other men, because a lot of men have been like brainwashed into thinking that feminism is the only route. So I just really resent the idea that like in order for women to blend in easy, we go into the men's rights community, because that makes us stand out like a sore thumb. But let's continue.
When she gets comfortable, she'll bait and switch and become a different person, which typically means she becomes an abuser because she is manipulating you into thinking that she was someone else.
I think we need to be really careful when we're throwing around the word abuser, because I feel like, you know, narcissist and abuser, like those are terms that are just very widely thrown around, in my opinion, without really understanding like, what does it mean to abuse somebody? So for this person just be like, any person that just switches up is abusive, I feel like is very false. I may have taken that wrong, but let's continue.
Else. As far as the red pill goes, many women have figured out that if they watch a couple of red pill videos,
I'm gonna stop this right here. I have never seen the Red Pill documentary. I'm a fan of Jordan Peterson's books, but I do not watch his videos. I have made a very clear point entering the men's rights community to come in with my own ideas. I don't cite anybody when I speak on men's issues. I don't look up to anybody. I just kind of do my own thing. And so I would really refrain from saying that every woman who's in the men's rights community is just trying to red pill everybody, because that's not necessarily true.
If they watch a couple of red pill videos, they can become a chameleon, say the exact same things they saw in those videos, and get tons of men to follow them simply because it's a woman saying it.
What's really funny for me is, like, I kind of started with comedy, but I've always been talking about men's issues, like, my whole life. There was never a time in my career where I was just like, this is what's gonna get me views.
Oh, hi there. Welcome to Facts About Men. Let's be honest here. The closest that men get in society to cared about or valued is whether or not they're deemed as useful.
Welcome to information that literally every red pill channel has said for the past 10 years. She isn't adding anything new. She is simply saying this stuff as a woman, and that's not useful.
She is simply saying this stuff as a woman, and that is not useful. Okay, well, I wasn't aware that there was like a specific usefulness category that I fell into as a woman. I think that these things are really important to talk about because speaking about this type of stuff on TikTok was something that we hadn't really seen. A very younger generation that doesn't really understand that stuff and is being bred and taught to still only value men for what they can provide. So again, I don't really know how to fit into the box of like usefulness, but I don't really view this as red pill. I view this as like kind of the stepping stones to getting into bigger conversations. Every stepping stone needs to be had.
But it will get you a lot of followers. The fact of the matter is that if women want to help men not get screwed over, then they have a ton to offer. Imagine if there was a female YouTuber out there who gave critical analysis of all of the manipulation tactics that abusive women use on men. It would be helpful to, for lack of a better term, learn from the masters.
This is like going up to a guy and being like, can you please explain to me exactly why Charles Manson did what he did? You're a guy. You should get it. Please explain it right now.
And some women have done that. Diana Davidson did a video on Dalia Dippolito, a woman who hired a hitman to kill her husband. When Dalia got caught, she was able to manipulate her husband, who she tried to kill, into helping her get out of jail. She still went to prison, but wouldn't it be great to hear what specific techniques that Dalia used to manipulate her husband, even to help her?
I hate to break it to you, but like, how would I know? How would I know these tactics? I don't know, because I'm not a crazy, abusive, I'm gonna try to kill my partner type of woman, and a lot of people aren't.
Diana Davidson's video on Dalia Dippolito is not chameleon content because it provides new and useful information that actually helps men.
Sir, something tells me that that woman was like probably a professional. She probably has a background in like criminal psychology. And if she doesn't, and she was purely making that video, like, I get it. And this is exactly how that woman manipulated and murdered her boyfriend or attempted to murder, whatever. If she's just like giving this analysis based off of like, this is just what she knows, then I would be concerned. I would maybe be making a video on that person. They'll be like, I can't explain this to you because I don't have a fucking degree. So I think maybe you just like think that women just have the like capability, the capacity to do this, but that is just as sexist as the women who walk around being like, yes, all men, because they're all inherently capable. This is wrong, and I can't tell you why that woman tried to murder her boyfriend, because I'm not a murderer.
Useful information that actually helps men. That's not what Chloe is doing. Chloe is just parroting information that men have already said and attracting simps purely because it's a woman saying it. In their minds, they think, see guys, she really gets us. Chloe cares about men and has sympathy for our issues.
If you see a community that is connecting with a woman, that is connecting with their content because their content is making them feel heard and understood, I think it's really damaging to just like knock them down to simps, as if like men aren't supposed to have this appreciation. Like, you can appreciate people who you feel are listening to you and understanding you.
But does she really? No, she doesn't. She is actually in favor of some of the major issues that are harming men. The number one issue for men is family court.
I'm really excited to see where I have favored the family courts.
issue for men is family court. The issue is not some abusive chick that you dated 5 years ago. The actual problem is that feminists lobbied the government to create laws that highly encourage abusive relationships and encourage the enslavement of men.
If someone could let me know like what kind of laws feminists have lobbied against in order to like harm men in the family courts, please let me know, because maybe I'm just missing something. But in my opinion, the reason why the family courts harms men so much is because it's built off of an old sexist system that believes that men don't really need to be there for their kids, that should go to work, and the women should stay home, and the men are the disciplinarians. And like, it was based off of a time where women couldn't make as much money. Like, we still have fucking spousal support. Like, who needs spousal support anymore? The family court system was built on a very broken, riggedy edge that never really was gonna be successful for anybody. Not the children, not the moms, not the dads. So to specifically blame this on feminists is actually really humorous to me.
One of those laws is child support. Guess what? Chloe believes in child support.
Yes, I do. I believe that child support is for children. I believe that child support should be regulated so that we know all the money is going to the children. Because here's the problem. The courts like to say it's for the children. But how many times on child support day do we see the baby mama going getting her nails and her hair's done? Like, that's a fucking problem. But at the end of the day, like, child support is for the children. It is so that you can help them get food, clothing, help them go to school. Yeah, I support that. Sorry.
Chloe believes in child support.
However, there are women that they're entitled to that. Absolutely. If you fuck up her life, fuck up her mental health, and leave her with a kid to look after, yes, you need to pay her child support.
Yeah. So what I'm talking about here is if I get pregnant, say you and me, we're doing our little thing, and I get pregnant and I say, what are we gonna do? And you go, you are not aborting this baby, you're gonna have this baby, and that's that. And then you beat me, abuse me, and like leave me? I'm entitled to child support. Bitch, you consented to having this kid with me. You said, yes, let's do this. And then you want to just run out and back off after you've abused and hurt somebody? Unacceptable. Yeah, child support should always be paid in situations of abuse. And the exact same goes for men. If a woman is like, yo, we're having a baby, forces him into it, and then for some reason the baby's born, she's like, nah, I don't want to be a mom. I want to go party. This happens. Dad gets left with the kid. Dad becomes a single dad. How fucking fair of it would it be for the woman to just be able to go off scot-free, not paying for the kid? We'd be like, no. Like, you need to provide for that baby. You told this man that this is what's happening and you're fucking off now? You don't get to do that on your commitments. No. So that's what I'm talking about.
You need to pay her child support.
Child support is theft.
Child support is not theft. The not regulating child support allows for theft to happen.
Child support is theft. It's forcefully taking money from someone that the recipient did not earn.
I feel like this person just really has like a very rigid view on child support, and I can't blame them because child support is constantly, it's being overcharged, it's being misused. Like, I totally get the apprehension towards child support, but at the end of the day, like, if they regulated that shit better, they made sure that that person could support their kid, still live comfortably, I don't really think that anybody would have an issue with supporting their kid. In fact, I would argue that the majority of men who pay child support are not mad because they have to support their kid. They're mad because they don't know exactly where their money is going to. So it's not that they're giving money to somebody who didn't earn it. It's that they're giving money to somebody trusting that they're going to use that money for their kid, and they're not. Like, that's the problem. Men don't have an issue with supporting their children. They have an issue with the women taking advantage of the system that says that men must support their children in this way, which is money.
Someone that the recipient did not earn. If Chloe was not a chameleon and actually supported men like she says she does, then she would be fully against child support.
No, What I find almost humorous is all this talk about chameleons and talking about stuff you don't understand to fit in. But it would really seem to me like you, sir, don't have a great understanding for a lot of the stuff you're talking about. And it seems like you're just kind of talking about this stuff for views. So like, who's the chameleon? Like, are you a single father? Have you been through the family courts? Or are you just kind of reiterating horror stories that you've seen?
Now, to add context to this clip, she is referring to women who were being abused and left with a kid. But as I was told when I was 5, 2 wrongs don't make a right. If he was abusive, then put him in jail and punish him for his crimes. But that does not justify you stealing from him.
I'm sorry. Did this person just say 2 wrongs don't make a right? And then equated the 2 wrongs as like abusing somebody and leaving them with a child to look after and holding them accountable to looking after that child? Where's the comparison? Like, I'm actually really stunned that somebody would compare somebody making sure that their child is looked after over like abusing somebody. Again, if we're equating the women who are like literally going after that money just for them, they have no intentions of putting it towards their kid, that's abusive. But in no way do I think that it's ethical to put that on the same like moral compass as somebody who has like beaten the shit out of them and left them with a child. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that that's a fair comparison. I don't think that's equal.
But that does not justify you stealing from him for 18 years, nor does it justify the large number of cases where abuse does not occur. And also, if a woman wanted money, wouldn't she just claim that she was being abused even if she wasn't? Kind of like a lot of women already do, as in the child support system is extremely easy to abuse.
Sir, this whole idea, like, it'll just make it easier for women. The only people that, like, take advantage of those systems are, like, manipulative, vindictive people. So, like, the point would be to make it so that the vindictive, evil women, right, can't take advantage of the child support system, not just, like, take away child support altogether because we're going to assume that every single mom and every single woman out there is going to misuse it. Like, the goal here isn't to take away a child's right to be supported by both their parents. The goal is to take away vindictive women's right to misuse the system that's really there for their kids. But like, to just assume that like every woman is going to do that, does do that, has done that, and so we need to take away this whole system is just really idiotic and it's sexist.
However, Chloe doesn't just believe in child support in the case of abuse. She believes in child support in nonviolent cases too.
I couldn't help but giggle at the way that that was reiterated. It's like she doesn't only believe in it in abuse cases, but non-abuse cases as well. Sir, featuring my cat, sir, you don't believe in it in any circumstance. So, like, who's the asshole?
Child support in nonviolent cases too.
If the parents are not able to split the kids 50-50, maybe one of them's work schedule is different, so they want to do, a couple days a week with dad, blah, blah, blah. If that is the case, then yes, child support should be paid to the mother because the mother has them for more of the time. However, it should be strictly calculated, looked at very closely at exactly what is needed.
So the fact that this creator is going to find a problem with that, I think just really speaks to a bigger issue, which I feel like this person, it's just my analysis, but I feel like this creator, Think Before You Sleep, I feel like they have a very specific view on mothers. I feel like they feel that no mother should be given money despite whether she's responsible, and that just like women are the only ones that should be responsible for their kids. I would like to see what his issue with this statement was.
Very closely at exactly what is needed, exactly what is missing, and not a penny more. Not only that, but child support should not be allowed to exceed more than 1/3 of his income.
Yeah, because it's for the children. So make sure that dad can live, or mom, whoever is paying it, usually it's dad, make sure that dad can live and make sure mom is using the money responsibly. Because guess what? Kids are fucking expensive. Kids are expensive. If you've consensually had kids together and the dad is like, I'm working a lot, would you be able to take care of the kids the majority of the time? Guess what, motherfucker? You're still responsible for the kid as well. She's looking after, and that's great, but provide a little bit. give some money for food and stuff like that if she's not working. Figure out your own situation so that you both are putting in as much as you're taking out of the relationship. No mother, father, separated, whatever. No situation can be like given a rule book, like this is exactly how it has to go. Everybody's situation is different. Other people can support in this ways, whereas, you know, a mother, you know, may not be able to work, but she can take care of the kids all day, and dad may be okay with that. So figure it out, but make sure that dad can still afford to live, and make sure that mom is like being held accountable with what she's doing with the money. I've never seen a man have an issue with paying child support. His only issue was that it wasn't regulated and he was broke. Most men are proud to take care of their, most men are very proud to take care of their children, sir. Of his income.
A third of his income? That's a lot of money.
Having a child? That costs a lot of money. I feel like this person has absolutely no idea how much children cost. Or maybe they're just assuming that every child that has ever been born has been born with the dad not consenting. But children are expensive, sir. So I'm just like, what do you feel like the role should be if the parents split up? If parents don't work out and a kid needs to be paid for, I'm just wondering like how that would look like in your household.
That's a lot of money. And do you really think the government is going to strictly calculate everything?
So I'm sorry, do you feel like it's just like an easier solution to take away child support altogether just to save all these men than it is to like lobby for our governments to regulate this shit? Like, I don't understand. Is that too much work for you? Because you want to talk about me not contributing anything or doing anything for the men's rights community, but like banding together and lobbying for our governments to change this stuff seems like too much work for you. You just want to erase it all together and like demean anybody who believes in like the logic of taking care of our children that we're responsible for.
Strictly calculate everything? The government screws things up constantly. Not to mention that the mom could just make up a bunch of BS expenses in order to get more money. And also, if you were saying that child support should be paid out to the parent with more custody, wouldn't that just encourage women to push for more time with their kids so they get more money in child support? Kind of like a lot of women already do. Again, he is not willing to give you that money, which makes child support theft.
You have a responsibility. It's about the children. We really need to like really start making that differentiation because it's bad.
Theft. How can you say you're here to help men when you're in support of one of the major things that hurts them?
Child support is not one of the major things that hurts men. It is the vindictive women that take advantage of the system of child support. Child support is here so that you can provide for your child. Oh my God, how many times do I have to say it? It is the women that are the issue in the child family court. It is the system that allows these women to abuse it. That is the issue. It's really not even the women, it's the system that allows this to continue to happen. Period.
Chloe also suggests that men should date single mothers. Here is a video of her explaining how to weed out a bad single mother, when really the advice should be,
oh God, here's the trade of all single mothers are bad and they're all walking red flags because men can do no wrong.
Don't date single mothers. Unless her husband died in a tragic accident, a single mother is telling you that she does not know how to maintain a stable relationship.
So first of all, my worth is based off of whether or not the man I chose to have a kid with died or not. Great. But second of all, what? I'm sorry, it's only the woman's job to make sure that we can upkeep and handle a healthy relationship? I'm sorry, aren't relationships like two-way streets? Doesn't it take two people? Why is it all up for the woman? Like, how come a man who is a single father, how come he's not showing you that he's not able to keep a steady, healthy family unit? Like, why is it always on women? I'm sorry, do you really believe that men should just be like at work being the disciplinarians and the women are the ones that are supposed to keep the family together? I don't know what fucking century you're stuck in, bro, but you're behind.
A stable relationship. And she should have to deal with the consequences of her actions.
Pardon me? A single mother should have to deal with the consequences of her actions. Children are not consequences. I feel like this person has a very strong disconnect for like what it means to be a parent or what like children are.
If that means less guys want her, then that's too bad.
Yeah, that's just too bad. I don't know how I'll ever survive without dating somebody that's gonna make a sexist judgment on me. However will I do?
I'm sure this video from Chloe has nothing to do with her being a single mother and is not self-promotion at all.
Okay, who's gonna tell this guy that I've been in a relationship for the last year? Like, who's gonna tell this guy that my partner knows that I'm a single mom? So I'm just like wondering when someone's gonna tell him that. I just want to make it very clear, it does not bother me that there are men out there that don't want to date single moms. It bothers me that there are men out there that don't want to date single moms because they believe certain stigmas about them or have made preemptive judgments that just really aren't correct. Some people just aren't into dating single parents. Some people just aren't into kids for whatever reason. Maybe it's their preference, or maybe they're afraid that they might end up becoming responsible for that kid. Whatever your fear is, like, or whatever the reason, it's valid. Unless your reason is single moms are just abusive, they're inherently toxic, they can't keep relationships together. I don't support that. Have your preferences, that's fine. But don't be putting other people down just due to your perspective on it. Like, I could sit here and be like, oh, men who don't date single moms are pieces of shits and they're red flags. But I'm not gonna do that because you just don't know people's individual stories or why they're in that situation or why they've chosen this. You can't make those judgments on people.
She is literally telling men to enter into a relationship where their chances of being with an abusive partner are far higher than if he got together with a woman who doesn't have kids.
I'm sorry, did you really suggest that single mothers are inherently more abusive? Is it inherent, or do they just do they become abusive? I don't quite understand. I'm sorry, did he just say that you have a higher chance of being abused dating a single mother than a woman without a kid? I would just like to know where those statistics are, because I would like to read them. I mean, that statement alone, I think, just really spoke volumes about how this person, but not only just this person, because so many other people in society genuinely feel like this. Like, this is how single moms are treated. This is how they are viewed. We are viewed as just these inherent failures that are just going to use and abuse you. Well, buddy, what the fuck are you saying for the single fathers? Should we be just as cautious, or are they just more responsible, less abusive? This is very toxic. Who's your mother?
Have kids. Plus, he has to deal with a father who could be an abuser himself. This is not helpful to men.
I apologize. I must take tips on how to be more helpful. Lord, save me.
Is not helpful to men. This is why being able to identify a chameleon is very important. Chloe may seem nice, but the things she recommends are awful. And I've said before, you can always tell who these people are way before anything serious happens if you know what to look for. You can literally read these people like a book with very little information.
No, actually, you can't typically tell a lot about somebody with very little information. That's typically called uneducated guesses, not doing enough research. And I just think it's really funny because this kind of just emulates a part of the men's rights community to me when it comes to allegations against men that are made publicly. Men are always saying there's not enough information out there. We can't make this judgment. We can't make this call. But somehow when it comes to women being chameleons, it's just so easy. What?
Very little information. I am saying this stuff because I've gotten plenty of comments and messages of people saying that Chloe is their waifu and she is the perfect example of a good woman. Chloe has a whole laundry list of mental problems that she hasn't dealt with.
So wait, now you kind of hurt my feelings. I'm not gonna lie. At the beginning of this video, you said Chloe isn't helping anybody, but you just said that you had a bunch of people messaging you, basically telling you the opposite, and you decided to paint them as these simps and make this analysis off of me yourself based off of what you admitted to be very little information, because we make this so easy, right? But like, people literally told you that this person is making a difference for them, and you just decided to make a video and literally pick them apart for such shallow reasons just to prove that they're not helpful, that they are chameleons. Like, I just want to know what kind of person does that.
That she hasn't dealt with. She would be a horrible partner because people with severe mental issues don't have the self-awareness to realize they are doing something wrong.
See, like, I'd like to know where this analysis came from. Like, how do you know that I'm a terrible partner? Have you ever interviewed anybody that I've dated? Because, like, I get in a relationship every, like, once in 5 years. And those relationships are always long-term. I've always been the financial provider. I've never been abusive. Like, I don't need to sit here and list off all the reasons why I'm a good partner. I think you need to sit and list off some good fucking reasons as to the proof and the evidence you have that I am this terrible, messed up partner due to this mental health. Like, I'm really excited to see the evidence, personally.
We saw that when she said it was bad for men to call themselves nice guys, but okay for her to call herself a good woman. More importantly, people with mental health issues do not know how to contain their behavior, so the more comfortable they are around you, the more they will flip out of control.
This is very irresponsible information giving. This is really not true. And if there's anybody out there that's like dealing with mental health issues, no matter what it is that is watching this video, I just want you to know that not everybody feels this way about you. There are a lot of people that understand that mental health does not equal bad person. It does not mean that you are out of control and you're just gonna hurt everybody. In fact, I would argue that a lot of people that are going through mental health issues kind of suffer in silence. They keep that shit hidden. That was a very irresponsible analysis to make, and I don't feel like you have the education or the understanding of mental health to be able to say that. So anybody watching that doesn't understand mental health is not an excuse to treat people poorly. A lot of people know that, and a lot of people don't use their mental health as an excuse to treat people poorly. So mental health does not equal bad person. Thank you.
With that said, let's go over the red flags. Starting with the most obvious red flag, I'm sure a lot of you thought of this right away, which is the tattoos.
Actually, a really big red flag for me is that it is 2021 and you are still looking at what's on people's skin and judging whether or not they're red flags because of it. Like, that's concerning to me.
Now, I feel like I have to say this every single time, otherwise people will flip out, but I am not saying that everyone who ever gets a tattoo has mental health problems. If she gets a butterfly tattoo on her ankle, then she's probably fine. But if she gets a full-on throat tattoo and has tattoos all over her body, then it is very likely that she has severe mental health issues.
Show me the facts, show me the statistics, show me the proof that says that, because in my mind, all you're doing is just like reiterating either bad experiences you've seen or bad experiences that you've had, and you're passing it off as like facts so that other people can spread it around like facts and look stupid. Like, there is no statistical analysis that supports that, and I would appreciate it if you would stop stigmatizing people with tattoos, specifically women. Thank you. I view that as a very toxic view on femininity. You just said that not everybody who has tattoos on them suffers from mental health, but if she were to have a little butterfly on her ankle, that would be okay. Well, why? Maybe because you're equating butterflies to something dainty, sweet, small, which is maybe how you feel women should present themselves, how women should be. Well, sir, this is not the 1960s. I do not have to wear a dress down to my ankles and a turtleneck and a fucking butterfly tattoo on my ankle. I'm allowed to dress how I want, and I'm allowed to have crazy loud tattoos and still be perceived feminine. And that does not mean that I deserve to be painted as somebody with mental health issues. That's just a stigma that you're placing against women and women with tattoos. You should really work on that.
I have said before that people who get tattoos and weird piercings do so as a form of self-harm and as a way of corrupting their body.
What century do you live in? I don't know if this person just doesn't understand like creativity or self-expression.
Chloe even made a video where she says that very thing.
I got a lot of my tattoos as a way to, I guess, like be intimidating, I guess, honestly, because I was really tired of people just kind of looking and seeing like a pretty face, and it really bothered me. I was much more than a pretty face. I have a big brain. I'm very tough, very independent.
There you go. She said she didn't want people to see a pretty face, so she corrupted it with tattoos.
I personally feel like it's wildly inappropriate to tell somebody what the corruption of their body looks like. That feels very grotesque to me. Like, you don't get to tell me that I've corrupted my body. I get to make that decision because my perception of my body is what matters most. So you telling me that I corrupted my body, I only corrupted it based off of what you think it should look like, which is misogynistic.
Red flag number 2. She doesn't get along with her own gender.
Oh, fuck, there's a shock. Oh my...
With her own gender. She is one of the guys.
I've never claimed to be one of the guys because I am a woman, and I am a woman who gets along with men. I am not one of the guys. I do not become a man because I hang out with men. I think that's just really degrading towards me and as well as other men. I think men should be allowed to hang out with women and appreciate them as women and not be forced to see them as one of the dudes. People don't think like this anymore, buddy. Being an attractive female that did not relate to other females, and I just wanted to, hang out with the guys, and I found a lot of acceptance there.
This means that she has trouble connecting with her femininity.
No. Men dislike other men, and that doesn't make them any less masculine. I think that masculinity and femininity need to stop being weaponized in this way or being categorized in this way, because whether or not I get along with females does not make me any less or more so feminine. I am feminine because I express myself that way. Simple.
Or she has trouble finding girls to be friends with who aren't abusers, so she hangs out with the boys.
See, I never once said that I struggled to hang out with... I never once said that I struggled to find women who weren't abusers. I never said that. So I feel like, again, this is like dog whistling in a very subtle way of saying that like this person believes that women are abusers. I think that this person really hates women, they really hate single mothers, and they hate the idea of a woman being in the men's rights community. That's just my perspective, because I never once said that I struggled to find women who weren't abusers. I know a lot of women who weren't abusers, and I still didn't fucking like them. I did not like them because they were abusers. I didn't like them because they didn't treat me good. That didn't mean that they were abusive towards me. Guess what? Not everybody has to like you, and not everybody is abusive.
Who will accept her because they are just happy to have any female present.
I feel like this person is not afraid to just degrade anybody. I don't know if that's how you view men. If you're that misandrous towards men, that you think that they are just so desperate and so dumb that they're just gonna grab onto any girl that comes their way. They're not. Men are not these desperate, dumb dog simps that women and men like this try to paint them out to be. What I feel like these people are trying to do is, I feel like this person is saying that men who accept women, who have women as a part of their life, men who cherish women and appreciate them are just not as masculine. They're simps. It's really wrong.
Or both. Neither is a sign of good mental health.
I would just like to know, where this person gets off talking so much about mental health, because they haven't touched on anything in my life that could possibly attribute to my mental health.
Red flag number 3. Chloe has an OnlyFans account. Well, it's Patreon, but you get the idea.
So if you knew that it was Patreon, why say OnlyFans? Is it because you know that there's a stigma around OnlyFans and you just needed people to know to keep that stigma forefront? Make sure that she sells herself. Before you explain my Patreon, this is very frustrating. I bet you $100 that I'm gonna press play and he is going to completely inaccurately describe what my Patreon is.
For the low price of $70.
It's actually 100 now. I'm sorry.
You get to see what Chloe looks like naked.
See, that's not true. See, again, at the beginning of the video, they were like, oh, I thought people rewatched their videos. Yeah, well, buddy, like, I thought people did proper research before doing videos like this. So, like, you don't just get to sign in and sign up and get titties and buttholes, and it doesn't work like that. And first of all, even if it did, who cares? But even when I am naked, like, I'm very classy, all right? I express my femininity, I think, through nudity. I feel like that is like, that's my healthy way of doing it. That's my onus over my body, and like owning the fact that I'm curvy, that I'm beautiful. Like, I like that. But that's my control, like my body to do with, my sexuality, my femininity. But it still is not as simple as just signing up and getting some boobs and butthole. First of all, none of my patrons have ever seen my butthole, and they never will. But it just doesn't work like that. I know every single one of my patrons by first name. I know what they do for a living. I know about their pets. I know about their family. I know when they take a vacation. I know when my military members are out on service. Like, I know this shit. You know why? Because you have to talk to me for 1 month before you even get to see any titties or nothing. Because it's the relationship that's important to me. None of my Patreons are signed up and here just to see titties and butthole. None of them. Because it doesn't work like that. They're there to talk to me. And if that's something that they would like, because that's how I like to express my femininity, and some guys don't mind that, then like, yeah, let's enter that mutual agreement, and let's do it respectfully and consensually. There's nothing wrong with that.
This is more encouragement of simp behavior.
As soon as a man starts calling another man a simp for supporting a woman in any way, whether it's praise, whether it's with money, anytime I hear a man put another man down with that word, I immediately feel like that person loses all credibility. Because it's like, not only do you feel comfortable putting women down, but you also feel comfortable putting men down just to put those women down. Like, I just really don't get it. Like, gentlemen, if you support a woman on an OnlyFans or a Patreon, if you're supportive, you appreciate what they're doing, don't allow faceless people like this to tell you that you're somehow this simp. Like, it's such a derogatory term that I feel like is a word that's used to try to get men to like really hate women, to treat women abrasively, to treat them like they're these whores and these, you know, you see a guy who like buys a ring for his girl, some flowers, and his friends are like, you're a simp. It's like, I'm sorry, what should have I done? Kissed her and smacked her ass and said, go make me a sandwich? Like, you're allowed to take care of women. You're allowed to appreciate women without being put down for it, or without being made to feel like you're less of a man for it. And women are allowed to express their femininity and express their sexuality without getting judged for it. And I will always stand by that. If you're going to judge me for my Patreon, I don't care about you. Oops. Like, I care about your problems, but I don't care about your opinion.
Why would you pay $70 to see a few pictures of her when you can find free naked pictures of women all over the internet?
Because you are derogatory and demeaning, and you think that men only sign up to support women just to see boobs and butthole. But if that were true, you're right, there's millions of other pictures. So maybe you're not understanding that maybe there's something a little deeper than that.
Is her saying a few nice things about men really worth that? She makes over $11,000 a month from her simps by doing this.
It sounds like this person's just like really upset that there are men that are like supporting a woman who is also speaking for their issues. I just think that it's really arrogant and it's really degrading, and not just to me, because like, I'm comfortable with myself. I don't feel degraded. I know that that's the mission here, but I don't feel degraded. But I understand that like, this is how women are viewed, and this is how men are viewed who support these women. And it's just so toxic. Like, just be live. What are you mad about? Are you mad that I'm not having to portion out pierogies and have it so that I'm not eating certain parts of the week just so my kid can eat because I'm so fucking poor that like that's what I had to do? Are you mad that I can now feed my family, that I can now put my kid in a good school? Like, I acknowledge every single day that my patrons pay my bills. They pay for this house that I'm in. They've paid for that TV, my furniture, my dog, everything. And I appreciate them for that and thank them for that every single day, because that's called a mutual relationship where you respect the other person. I don't respect these women that have men that are trying to provide for them, trying to, you know, partake in this service, and those women just treat these men like shit, call them simps, and just see them as wallets. Like, I feel like this person only sees these men as just like these mindless, cowardly wallets. And I would just encourage you to like respect men a little bit more than that, because that's pretty fucking misandrist, buddy.
It really makes me believe that you are all for men's rights and healthy relationships when you are selling your body for money instead of building a skill.
I find this really funny because I'm an educated woman. So this whole like selling your body rather than building a skill, you don't know what I'm doing on there.
Sex work is like poison to a relationship. And wait, not only that, but she demands that every man send her a copy of their government ID, as in like a driver's license, before they get access to her photos.
Well, yes, sir. There's a very specific reason for that. And it's so that men like you, who just think that those men who subscribe are simps and you can just go see those pictures for free, and so that those men don't just like take my pictures and go make it free for everybody who just believes that that's just how women should be. If a woman like chooses to be naked, I think it's like perfectly fine that she wants some security to know that like you're not gonna send her pictures everywhere. But I feel like this person is just somebody who would just be like, yeah, well, you chose to be naked, so who cares if it goes out everywhere?
Are you guys stupid? You are begging for your identity to be stolen.
I find it really funny how he made this comment before of like, why would you pay this money when you can just go see all these naked girls for free? And it's like, that's exactly why I have people upload their ID, because any private, meaning like nude content that they may get, has their ID contrast watermarked right onto it. So I think it's really funny that he's like, that's such a great way to get your ID stolen and your information stolen. And it's like, yeah, well, not getting ID is a great way for my nudes to end up everywhere, when I need to make sure that they're only to the people who I've consented to give it to, because that's called having ownership and onus over your body. So, you don't have to subscribe. Well guys, I think that's enough for reviewing this video today. I'm gonna finish the other half of it tomorrow with a part 2. Let me know if you like this style, because I'm thinking about switching up my YouTube to like a commentary response type style. No matter where you support me, whether it's Reddit, Facebook, Patreon, YouTube, just know that it is 100% appreciated. If you haven't hit the subscribe button already, please do for more men's rights content, and make sure that you're not giving any of those toxic Beckys any dick. None. No Willy the One-Eyed Wonder Wieners. I'll know. Thank you.
Oh baby, no it be okay. You don't gotta be so. Oh baby, no it be okay. You don't gotta be